From the first moment, I was enamored with Princess Peach Showtime. Opening with Princess Peach getting invited to the magical Sparkle Theater, only to discover upon arrival that things have gone haywire, and only she can don each of the individual costumes and rid the theater's various plays from their ailments. And from the outset, this game is charming as all hell. I am positively obsessed with the presentation here. Every level is framed as a play being performed by these new creatures called Theets, and in each one, Peach is in the starring role, brandishing a new costume and new gameplay style alongside her. And this play theming gives the game a very unique style that I find just sickening to look at. This game was developed by the folks over at Goodfeel, most famously known for titles like Kirby's Epic Yarn and Yoshi's Woolly World, and the handcrafted aesthetic that you would expect from them makes a delightful reappearance here. It's not as front and center as it is in those titles, but everything here looks like props made in a community theater. There's puppet strings controlling the horses, streamers that blow in the wind to signify water, and all of the special effects look like they're being projected onto the scene. It's fantastic. And these strong visual elements make sure that every play, even the ones that overlap in gameplay gimmicks, have a distinct feeling to them. Speaking of gameplay gimmicks, I like them. In concept. Princess Peach is a character who has existed in mostly the same 2 or 3 outfits across her several decades long history, very rarely branching out of her typical pink dress. And this game seems like it was built from the ground up to break her out of that box. I'm a nerd for this shit. I look at all the new Nintendo character renders when they drop, so I was absolutely feasting here. Like, yes, give me some more outfits for Princess Peach to wear. Yes, give me some more obscure lore for the Mushroom Kingdom. And I know it's probably still too early to speculate about the next Smash Bros, but you bet your ass that I am currently daydreaming about this somehow informing a moveset for Peach in the future. I love that every level has these wildly different abilities and themes attached to them, and more than that, I love that they all have their own stories going on. It's not like Shakespearean storytelling, but it's cute to go on a little adventure with all these little guys. Each level has a through line, little arcs unfolding in the background, and on a first time playthrough, it's just fun to discover all the various goings-ons within the world of these plays. It makes it really easy to fall in love with the setting this game puts you in. I just wish that the setting had a better game inside. Like, it's a backhanded compliment to say that the visual style is the best part of this game, but the visual style is the best part of this game. Princess Peach Showtime is a game that prides itself on its simplicity. The entire thing is a low stakes, low difficulty, and frankly, low engagement experience. Hell, you only ever have to hit 2 buttons on the controller. Every costume Princess Peach wears has very limited movesets, the platforming is low stakes and oftentimes puts up invisible walls to protect the player, and if you have no idea how to proceed, the game makes sure damn well that there's an NPC around every corner that will happily tell you so. It's cute, it looks good, I like seeing Princess Peach wear fun new outfits, but in execution, it's not as good a video game as it is like a interactive storybook. Like, the costumes and the promise of that variety that comes from switching between them is the biggest part of this game. But they all play kinda similarly. A good most of them are just some form of action platformer with abilities and powers that are so shallow in execution that even though you only get 3 levels with each of them, they somehow feel like they've run out of interesting ideas after only 1. For each of the 3 levels of any given power, you will be doing the same things the same ways. And you might say, but there's only 3 levels, so they don't overstay their welcome. But 3 somehow still feels like they're overstaying their welcome. There's been praise for this game because it's short and thus digestible, but was it like that intentionally, or is it just half-baked? Because from where I'm sitting right now, it feels like it should have been shorter. And if I'm saying that a $60 game that takes 7 hours to beat should be shorter, there's a problem somewhere. If there was just a little more going on with each of the costumes, or maybe like a couple of levels where you play as base Princess Peach doing stuff backstage to help break up the monotony, it could have worked. There are other similar games with gimmick levels like this, but those work because it's not only gimmick levels. There are fun ideas here. The ones that strayed furthest from that action platformer core ended up being my favorites, but I kept thinking to myself that I would have just preferred if they had put their heads down and expanded one of these gameplay styles into a full game instead of giving us undercooked demos of 10 different games. Demos that have no replay value. If you're unfortunate enough to miss a collectible in a first-time playthrough and have to play a level again, whatever charm that came through watching the story's events unfold the first time through becomes agonizingly slow, grating torture just waiting for things to get on with it. It got to the point where I began following a collectible guide in order to get all of the game experience before hitting the credits. And even then, for 100%, I have to replay every single level because they add more collectibles after the final boss. There is no way to get everything in the game in one playthrough. There is no way to play the game without experiencing its most glaringly obvious issue. You are forced to re-experience these levels and watch them go from cute distractions into what feels like the biggest time waste known to man. And it was right about here where I had to ask myself, outside of the fun of Princess Peach saying new voice lines and wearing new clothes, what really is there here? The platforming is basic, the gimmicks that come with each costume don't feel particularly interestingly utilized, and the moment-to-moment gameplay is a lot of waiting around for the dialogue to finish. And it's like, I wouldn't mind treading through all the slowness if the gameplay was more interesting. I wouldn't mind the overly simple gameplay if things moved a bit quicker, but both of them at the same time makes this game a lot more of a slog than I would like. And that really sucks, doesn't it? The cynic in me says that the reason the game is like this is probably because it's a game for girls. It stars Princess Peach and has her wearing fun outfits, and Princess Peach is a girl, so girls will be playing it. And girls can't have a normal video game, they need a girl video game that's painfully rudimentary so their stupid girl brains can handle it properly. Girls don't like playing video games, girls only like playing dress up. And you know, I like playing dress up too. I more or less got this game just on the premise of Princess Peach playing dress up alone. But I wasn't expecting the dress up to be like the only particularly noteworthy thing about this experience. Like, I know that this is a game for babies, but it got to a point where I was thinking, would kids even like this? A lot of people think that kids will eat up whatever slop is put in front of them, but kids these days are putting hours into learning how to crank 90s in Fortnite. I don't think this would exactly be stimulating to them. Hell, compare this to Kirby and the Forgotten Land, another game that has an intended audience of younger gamers and a famously low difficulty, but still manages to have much more going on in basically every single way. Like, our little girl's gonna pick up this game and be like, wow, it's really interesting that all the backgrounds look like they're handmade. Or are they gonna see their friends playing some Roblox high school simulator and choose that because it has actual interesting gameplay happening? I've seen a lot of people liken this game to Luigi's Mansion, both being experimental titles featuring Mario's ensemble cast with a fun new gameplay gimmick. Except, unlike Luigi's Mansion, Princess Peach Showtime feels like a dumbed-down version of something Mario would already be doing. Especially because we already have a Mario game that features a main gimmick of transforming into different things with their own unique gameplay abilities, and it looked like this! I think a lot of people are okay with the middling overall quality of this game because it's trying something new, it's a first step in a new series. But let's be honest with ourselves, it's not that different from anything Mario was doing beforehand. Both gameplay-wise and aesthetic-wise, earlier efforts from Mario and developer Goodfeel have put out similar, superior titles. The only difference is that this one stars Princess Peach. And isn't it annoying that the restrictive, overly handholdy game is the only one that stars a girl? Maybe we do need Sweet Baby Inc. I don't know, I find it a bit of a bummer that Nintendo, a company that has spent the last console generation proving that they make more than just baby games, finally put their leading lady in a video game again, and it's one of the most frustratingly basic games to grace the Nintendo Switch. I don't mind simple mechanics, I don't mind low difficulty, but I do mind when a game is just uninteresting. And don't you go making the baby game argument, because it's a video game starring Princess Peach. They had to know that all the 20-something Twitter gays were gonna be all over this one. I wouldn't recommend this game, not even to the little ones. At $60, it's basically highway robbery, and unless you spend all of your time gooning to Princess Peach's midriff or at the local Claire's, I don't think you'll have a very easy time overlooking this game's numerous obvious weaknesses. It's a game that I liked more than I thought was good, and I wish that I liked it a lot more. It's a 5 out of 10 game surrounded in the most 10 out of 10 packaging you could possibly imagine. And that might average to a good score for you, but for me, it's just disappointing. See ya!